After PETA exposed a Patagonia wool supplier that was treating sheep so horribly, we have to blur the footage shown here. The company said that it would stop buying wool until it could meet an appropriately high standard of animal welfare. Eventually, however, Patagonia started buying wool again from Red Pine Land and Livestock, a supplier in Utah, lauding it as an excellent partner that upholds its rigorous criteria. But when PETA observers visited a sheep shearing operation at which thousands of sheep from Red Pine are sheared each year, that is not what they found. Patagonia standards say that heavily pregnant sheep should be handled with extra care in order to avoid distress, and only when absolutely necessary. But instead, workers yank them by their wool onto the hard floor of the trailer before shearing them. They were then sent down steep ramps into an outdoor pen. There, a worker was seen whipping them on the head and back in order to get them to enter a chute, or for no reason at all. And this was being done to sheep, who a rancher said would give birth any day. This is definitely not handling with extra care, or helping to avoid distress. Most of the sheep had bloody wounds on their bodies up to 5 inches long, near their anuses and on their udders, ears, necks, and torsos from the rough shearing. This goes directly against Patagonia standards. Patagonia standards purport to ensure that wool comes from sheep who have been treated responsibly, but our observers also found the bones of sheep who had died strewn across the field. After the heavily pregnant sheep were sheared and left with virtually no coat, they were driven into the desert to give birth.
Oh yeah, so these girls are ready to pop. They'll probably have their babies any day now.
There, they were left out in the cold as the temperature dropped to 32 degrees. Experts agree that newly shorn sheep are prone to hypothermia. They may only have about 1/10 of an inch of their insulating wool left, which can increase heat loss by up to 300%. Patagonia standards explicitly say that shorn sheep should have effective protection from the weather and from cold stress. Sheep are complex and much smarter than most people realize. In fact, they can recognize at least 50 different faces for up to 2 years, which is longer than most humans can. They're extremely loyal and even stick up for weaker sheep in fights. No matter what standards are put in place or where a company purchases wool, the sheep will always suffer. Tell Patagonia to use only cruelty-free, vegan wool. Thank you.